2024 is over, but boy howdy, looking back, there sure was a lot of good video games that came out. Maybe let's talk about them. This last year in gaming was a little bit different for me, so instead of trying to play every little thing that comes out, every AAA release, I just played what I wanted to play, and I played a shit ton of it. So it was harder to get a top 10 together, but I think what I have on here I really stand by. So let's get into it.
Thank goodness you're here.
Thank Goodness You're Here is a game made by two people in England, probably, because this is extremely British.
Call the fire department. Tell them old Charlie's got himself stuck in the well again.
It's super funny. You just go around doing little favors for everybody, and you're this tiny little man, this little yellow minion office worker guy, and it's just hilarious. I mean, I spent a lot of time getting my ass beat this year by games, and it was just nice to sit back and laugh at something. So, anyway.
Say hello to democracy.
Helldivers 2 is all about guns, killing, explosions, military propaganda. You might be thinking this must be a Michael Bay game, and you'd be right for thinking that, but you're wrong because there's no underage women. And look, some of the hype has died off of this game, even though they have continued to add stuff to it, and I would like to go back, but I mean, shit, things keep coming out, so I can't just play everything. But what was there and the time I spent with it was awesome. It's a ton of fun to be teaming up with people around the world to complete similar objectives, or like one main objective together. And I can't think of any other game that I've played, at least, that does something like that. And the microtransactions were super moderate. I mean, in this day and age, like, you're gonna have it. So to have it not egregious is kind of the best thing we can ask for. And it made me watch Starship Troopers for the first time. So I really just gotta put it on the list for that. Wukong kicked the shit out of me over and over and over again, just like Elden Ring, just like other games on this list that I haven't listed yet. But I just kept enjoying it. I kept enjoying looking at it, for one. I think it's really cool to be in this Chinese mythology that I really know nothing about. It gave me like old God of War vibes. Remember just like the classic God of War where you're just tearing through Greek mythology? It kind of felt like that, except I didn't know any of the stuff, so there'd just be like a big blue baby and I'm beating the shit out of it, and I don't know, it's just cool. And I love original Wukong. I mentioned that in my video before, but his little voice is just so silly and ridiculous, so that's it. That's all the reason I need.
I was in need of a back scratcher.
Balatro. This game is crack. I didn't think I was a card game guy. Every time there was a card game in a game, I would avoid it. Like when I played The Witcher 3, I just avoided Gwent entirely. I thought that really wasn't my thing. Played Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, didn't really plan on going back to that genre. And then I played Inscription, and then I was like, wait, I might be a card guy. And then I played Marvel Snap, and I was like, I'm a card game guy now. And then I saw all the buzz about Balatro, and I'm like, it's just a little poker, like it doesn't even look very good, I don't understand it. And then I actually played the thing, and I just couldn't stop playing it. And then I ended up buying it on my phone, and so now every time there's like a lull, or just I have to wait for any amount of time, I just bust it out. I'm just stacking up jokers and stacking up pokers. That's the game. The sound design is just crazy. All the cards like flipping over. I don't know. It's crack. You gotta try it. It's like $9. Just play it. Whatever. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Is it Dragon Ball Super Sparking Zero? I'm not gonna look it up. I'm biased, all right? I know other fighting games came out that were better this year. I understand that. I'm not gonna sit here and go, you know, this game is the greatest fighting game of all time. It had a huge release and then a massive drop off after the game just came out and everyone realized it was wildly unbalanced, to the point where they had a tournament and then these people just threw the game basically just to show the developer that it was unbalanced. It was super awkward.
I really like flying up and down as well.
Yeah, so how's your day been, Jake?
It's been great, man.
Anyways, the game has its issues, but what it lets me do is play random scenarios and look really, really good doing it. Like, the game looks gorgeous. It looks like the anime. So you could basically just do all the little custom battles you want. And, well, what if Goku fought Piccolo, but his dad was there? So I just run those all the time. I don't know why, it just looks great. And I probably spent like 120 hours on this game this year, just like the entire month of October. I'm pretty sure I just spent playing this. Honestly, it's fun. I wouldn't recommend it if you don't like Dragon Ball because I feel like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Day of the Diver is just wholesome fun. It's just everybody's nice and you're setting up your little business and everybody's just having a good time, and the characters are fun and quirky, and it's got a funny little sense of humor and all these mini games, and I don't know, it's extremely Moorish. You know, you start with basic catches, you're catching tiny little fish, and that's exciting, and you're like, wow, I got 12 of these bad boys. And then 10 hours later, you're catching like sharks, and you're setting traps, and you're rescuing dolphins, you're doing all this crazy stuff. Meanwhile, you're running this restaurant, you're serving drinks, hiring people, all this stuff, and I never knew that I wanted that. I never knew that I was into this kind of game. It's like a management sim mixed with a roguelike dungeon crawler type. I don't know. I'm sure there's a specific subgenre for it, but it's very fun. And the DLC for it, I don't know if it's still available or not, but there was a Godzilla DLC and it was awesome. I highly recommend, if you're gonna play this game, play that. And it has a Dredge DLC. I think it even has a Balatro DLC now that I mention it. I gotta get into that. Astrobot. This game is just fun. There's not really much more to say about it. It's just really, 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 really fun. Astrobot is so good that it's putting itself next to those big, great Nintendo 3D platformers and holding its own, all the while being a massive homage to PlayStation titles. Like, the whole thing is just a big, oh, that's the guy from Uncharted. Look at him there. He's doing his little dance that he doesn't do any dance. I think he just sits on the couch, that Nathan Drake one, but just all these little references that if you grew up playing a lot of these games, like I'm sure a lot of people that watch these videos probably did, it's just gonna be a good time like collecting all of them. And then you get all of them together and there's like 300 of these little fucks following you around, and it's just so fun. It's pretty crazy that a exclusive got so big and ended up getting Game of the Year at what's that? Jeff Keighley's little what is that called? The Game Awards, of course. Jeez. Okay. But not here. It's just number 4 here. So take that, Jeff Keighley. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, or Like a Dragon 8, or Yakuza 8, or whatever you call it, was an insane game. It was a great game. I played at least 100, I think it was like 130 hours I put into this thing. Just an insane amount of time. And it feels so long ago because I'm pretty sure it came out in February. This franchise just continues to grow and grow and grow. And I feel like in the coming years, especially with that Project Century, I think is what they call it. They announced it at the Game Awards. I think there's gonna be more eyes on that studio and this franchise, and I think there'll be more to come. But this game specifically, I mean, they've got all the mini games from previous games. They got the interesting new classes you can do with all the characters, and I was really just into the party building, and I was sitting down writing notes on like a notepad, like, okay, this person's gonna do this person's gonna do this, they're gonna be in this class, but I need to put them in this class so they get this move from over here, and that is in line with their character. Like, for the narrative, like, this character wouldn't be doing cleaning stuff. That doesn't make sense. Like, why she's rich, she would have help for that. So just that kind of stuff that I get way too into, and I was really into it with this. It's crazy that this isn't my game of the year. Like, games this year really popped off, and I think people who watch this channel probably would have expected it to be, and people who know me personally. But the one thing that dragged it back for me, I think the story was good. I don't think it was their best, but the one thing that dragged it back was, and this is in the marketing, this is a big goodbye for one of the main characters of the franchise, Kiryu, and I think they could have done more with it. I don't want to give anything away, but there are certain reasons why he can't directly interact with some people he would like to say goodbye to, because he is sick. And I just think, yeah, that makes sense for the narrative that you've already built, but that's not satisfying to someone who is trying to, like, get closure of these relationships that we may never see in this game again. And I'm being very picky, but it's because I've played all these things and I feel like I wanted more from it. But to the average player, I'm sure they'd be fine with it. Or they wouldn't interact with it at all because it's mostly side stuff, but whatever. Moving on. Marvel Rivals is ruining my life. It is all that I think about all the time. I am on the Marvel Rivals subreddit. I grinded to Diamond 1 in Season 0, and I'm at, as of recording, I'm at Plat 3 or 2? Plat 2 or 3? But yeah, no, it's all I think about. This game is so much fun, and for something that was just not on my radar at all, because I never played Overwatch. It wasn't my thing. I had friends who were always trying to get me into it, but it just didn't appeal to me whatsoever. But I'm a little bit of a slut for Marvel, so you slap some Marvel skins on there, I'm in. Like, I'll try it just for the Marvel stuff. I've been reading Marvel comics for a long time, since I was a lad, so that'll get me in the door. And then once I was in, I was fully in. I had no idea how obsessed I was going to be, and I have put an insane amount of time in. I think I'm at like 150 or 60 hours, and it just came out like not that long ago. Getting to Diamond as close, I didn't make it to Grandmaster last season, I was pissed, but getting that close just with people I knew felt like such an accomplishment. And I have never in my life cared about ranks or competitive anything with games. Like, it just doesn't matter to me. Like, I never even chased prestiges in like Call of Duty or anything like that, because it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm gonna get like different colored guns, and you don't even really get much out of it in Marvel Rivals, but just for how much I enjoy the gameplay, to then say like, okay, I have some level of talent at this because I have this shiny different rank. It for some reason felt very good. And all the character design stuff, I mean, obviously, yeah, there is a big goon factor to this game. Like, they are caked up to the nines. My wife watched me buy the Invisible Woman skin, and she was repulsed, as she should be. The cake is insane. But from a pure like style standpoint, like artistic style, like a lot of the skins, even the original ones, are really cool. Like, there's a lot that they could pull from with these characters, but even the ones that they made themselves are just insanely cool and creative. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. And yeah, I'm gonna be playing the shit out of this. If anybody wants to add me, maybe I'll put my name in the description. I don't know, whatever. All right. Well, let me explain. This is a bit of a combo. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, because I played both this year. I had never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I was told that I should before I play these, and that these were great. And so I played the first third, which makes up the entire story of Remake of the original. And then they asked me to catch a chocobo, and I was so frustrated that I was like, okay, I'm done with this. This is like, I can't do this anymore. So that's all I got through the original. Even though it was good, it was still fun. And I just like, I need to play something new. I can't. But this journey, for what I thought it was going to be, I thought it was just going to be like a fun thing to play. And, Remake was on PlayStation Pass, so I didn't have to spend any money on it. And it consumed me. I had no idea how epic Final Fantasy VII was. It's one of those things that people say like, oh, it's the greatest game of all time, greatest story of all time. And I know there are differences with the remakes, I understand that. But just how grand this whole thing is, I had no idea. And I thought Cloud as a character, without spoiling anything, was just a milquetoast, wet napkin Boy Scout. But there's a lot more depth to all of them, like all the characters, than I initially thought. And the amount of work they've put into making me like all these characters is insane. And even characters like Yuffie, who, as soon as I saw her, I said, oh my, I hate this chick. I hate her so much. I don't want this e-girl on my party. I know she's gonna be, but I don't want her. And then a couple hours in, you realize that she's kind of like the bratty little sister. And she's always doing something kind of obnoxious, but her heart's in the right place, and she's trying to do something noble, something bigger than herself. But she's still got that like annoying little sister vibe, and they pull that off like perfectly. Somehow all the interactions, all the everything between all the characters is just so perfect. And the story, just how insane it got, just blew me away. Like, I know people were a little bit upset with the changes at the end of Rebirth, and I also think that maybe they should have committed one way or another with the ending, and people who have played it know what I'm talking about. But it was still really, really great and beautiful looking. The whole game is incredible looking. It was insane. Not to mention the combat in this game. I played Remake and I thought to myself, boy, when I move over to Rebirth, they better not touch this. My brother-in-law is telling me, no, it gets even better. And I was like, they're gonna mess with it. They're gonna ruin it. They're gonna do too much. They did so much to it. They improved on everything that was there. And I mean, you could say it's complicated. It is complicated, but it's so cool. It's so cool and so satisfying when you get it right. And especially, I mean, a lot of these bosses like get pretty difficult. So you have to really fine tune your combinations, who's in your party, make sure everybody's kind of leveled up and got good gear and stuff, because you can get your ass beat real quick. It was just really, really incredible. And I would recommend anyone, even if you haven't played the original, to play this game, both of these games, because just the ride was really, really something. I didn't think I would be that consumed by it. I thought it was just kind of overrated, overhyped, but nah, I really enjoy my time with it, and I'm really excited to see like where the third part of the remake goes. So, and looking forward to 2025 in general. There's a lot of games on my radar that are going to be coming out. I mean, shit, we have GTA 6 this year. That's crazy. I'm still waiting on that Elder Scrolls 6, but I think I'm gonna be waiting for a long time, so not gonna get my hopes up. Yeah, no, that's Game of the Year. I'm gonna try to do more. I'm gonna try to do more with the channel this year. I was just in deep with games this year, and work, of course. Life goes on. Yeah, I'd like to do more, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna stress myself out about it. If you watched all this, I know I'm yapping, I'm rambling too much, but if you did watch all this or any of this, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate anybody who subscribed or liked or whatever throughout the year. I know I'm not like super consistent, but I have fun making these, and hopefully some people have fun watching them. And if not, what are you doing here? Anyway, have a good year. I'll see you in the next video that I upload. Hopefully not a month from now. Hopefully like a week. We'll see. All right, bye.